the LA Sparks ownership just made a move to potentially bring in Caitlin Clark, White Indiana Fever, Kelly Crosskoff, Amber Cox, Lynn Dunn. Count your days. The GOAT is gonna get the hell away from you very, very soon.
The Indiana Fever have Caitlin Clark, the most watched player women's professional basketball has ever seen. In 2026, she is averaging 21.2 points per game, while drawing television audiences the WNBA could only dream of before her arrival. She didn't simply elevate Indiana's performance. She transformed a once-overlooked franchise into the most discussed and closely followed team in the entire league.
And we've already been informed she is on minutes restriction yet again. She will be playing 20 to 25 minutes yet again. Stephanie White is going to fuck with her rhythm.
Yet Indiana's head coach appears unwilling to make Clark the true centerpiece of the franchise. She hasn't been given the freedom or support a superstar of her magnitude deserves. She is pulled from games at momentum-killing moments and asked to operate within a system that seems better suited to someone else. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Sparks have made their admiration for Clark increasingly obvious. With a powerful ownership group assembling the resources and personnel needed to build around her, Stephanie White and the Fever now appear to be standing between Clark and a potentially transformative move.
Is that Stephanie White is keeping it her big plan to keep Caitlin Clark on these minute restrictions. Now, we know before last game, Aaliyah Boston did not play. Aaliyah Boston came into this game versus the Phoenix Mercury, played 38 damn minutes. She did not play 2 minutes here, 3 minutes there, pull her out, completely killed her rhythm. Whatever the case is, it's clear to me, and it should be clear to you, that Stephanie White has a clear agenda against Caitlin Clark. She do not want to let her get in the rhythm. She do not want her to be herself.
The situation creates a frustrating contradiction. Indiana doesn't appear fully committed to building around Clark, yet it has no intention of allowing her to leave. That leaves her caught in the middle, carrying a franchise she may not even envision as her long-term home. And while Indiana hesitates, Los Angeles remains in the background, carefully watching, patiently waiting, and quietly building.
It's been being laid. I don't know. I tried to tell you guys, okay? I tried to tell y'all Michael Thompson, Laker legend, wasn't just saying things just to be saying things. He has intel on what the hell is going on in LA, and especially with this new ownership group, who is the same ownership group that have made big moves for the Lakers. They're looking to make a major splash with the Sparks.
Before diving deeper into the resistance and controversy surrounding a potential move, it is important to recognize what the Los Angeles Sparks have become. This is no longer the directionless franchise that spent much of the previous decade outside the spotlight. The organization is backed by an ownership group led by Mark Walter, who became the Los Angeles Lakers' majority owner after the NBA approved his acquisition of the Buss family's controlling stake in late 2025. Walter also owns the Los Angeles Dodgers and serves as CEO of Guggenheim Partners, a global investment firm managing more than $340 billion in assets. He is not a passive investor collecting sports franchises. He builds organizations to compete for championships. The Dodgers have remained perennial World Series contenders. The Lakers carry one of basketball's most prestigious identities, and the Sparks may now be his next major transformation.
Guys, right now, if you don't think the LA Sparks got something cooking, you're damn crazy. You're crazy. And if you ain't following the news, you better get to connecting the dots. Now,
the ownership group also features Magic Johnson, a man whose connection to winning in Los Angeles stretches back generations. When Mark Walter and Magic become involved with a franchise, their ambition extends far beyond simply being competitive. They want to create a championship contender, dominate the conversation, and become the defining story of the sport. And at this moment, no story in women's basketball is bigger than Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin's one too, right? Like, she is unique in when the ball crosses half court, it's in the scoring zone. We have our hands full. You can't lose sight of her for a half a second. So we'll mix up what we're doing with her, mix up who's guarding her, but I don't think it matters that she hasn't played here since 24. She is who she is, and you know, as much as her scoring, shooting is a threat, her passing is even more dangerous. So we've got to be locked in, and it's not just, you know, whoever's guarding her. It's got to be all 5 people locked in, head on a swivel, because she's an unbelievable passer.
To lead the Sparks' basketball transformation, Walter and Magic turned to Lynn Roberts. During her 9 seasons at Utah, she developed the program into a consistent NCAA tournament contender. She is not an inexperienced first-year coach learning on the job. She is a proven program builder who has operated with urgency and purpose from the moment she arrived in Los Angeles.
We making a run towards Caitlin Clark. Now, with that being said, last week we seen them sign none other than Kate Martin, one of Caitlin Clark, close friends from Iowa. We've been seeing Caitlin Clark subliminally pull up with her CC1s in the LA Sparks colorway. Now, with that being said, if you mean to tell me that if it walk like a duck, talk like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a damn duck. And that's exactly what the LA Sparks is doing right now.
In May 20, the Sparks added Kate Martin, and the significance of that move should not be overlooked. Martin shared the court with Caitlin Clark at Iowa and played an important role in the program's historic NCAA tournament runs. Their chemistry is already established. She understands Clark's pace, movement, and decision-making without needing time to learn her game. Signing Martin in the middle of the WNBA season therefore feels like more than a routine roster move. It looks like another carefully placed signal. Then there is Kelsey Plum, a proven offensive threat who knows how to thrive beside a high-usage playmaker. Los Angeles is not simply filling roster spots. The Sparks appear to be assembling pieces that would complement a creative, ball-dominant point guard perfectly. In other words, they may already be constructing a system around a superstar who has not even joined them yet.
Chapter now. The beginning of the groundwork. 1, Caitlin Clark has a wonderful, wonderful relationship with Cameron Brink that stems back to their Team USA days as high schoolers. Okay, that's 1. 2, they brought in Caitlin Clark's best friend in the world. You are my best friend in the whole wide world. Kate Martin in the whole wide world. They brought in Kate Buddy Martin from Iowa, okay? Now, they have decided to part ways with the GM, and they are going to be looking to make a move.
Now consider what Caitlin Clark is delivering on the court, because the case for keeping her in Indiana becomes far less convincing once the numbers enter the conversation. In her 3rd professional season, Clark is averaging a career-high 21.2 points per game and continues to elevate her performance. She has earned another All-Star selection and was named MVP of the FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament in March 2026. Her influence reaches far beyond the box score. The Fever's June 6 matchup against the Liberty averaged 2.557 million viewers on CBS, making it the season's most-watched WNBA game across any network and the 2nd most-watched women's basketball game since 2000. With that level of production and unprecedented drawing power, Indiana must answer one uncomfortable question. Is Clark truly being treated as the foundation of the franchise, or merely as another player within its system? Based on what we have witnessed this season, the answer is difficult to ignore.
Steph, just following up on Caitlin from earlier, she didn't practice yesterday. Why was she not listed on the injury report, or why wasn't the injury report updated like earlier today if she woke up with soreness in her back?
Well, not everybody that doesn't practice or gets a pro day is on the injury report, so that happens all the time. And she wasn't listed on the injury report earlier because we expected her to play.
And is she injured? I guess is a fair question. Is she injured, or is it something other than an injury?
Her back is sore, so if there's anything more detailed than that, that's the training staff.
Do you think the Fever could get fined for not listing her as on the injury report?
No.
The moment that truly intensified the scrutiny came on May 31, when Indiana faced the Portland Fire. Stephanie White removed Clark during the opening quarter, and the Fever eventually suffered a decisive 184 defeat. Then, during a second-quarter timeout, cameras captured an exchange between Clark and White that appeared visibly tense. Clark rose from her seat, walked behind the coach, and shook her head as a national audience watched. White later explained that the substitution was part of Clark's predetermined minutes restriction. But that explanation only created another question. What value does a carefully designed plan have if it disrupts your best player's rhythm and still ends with a 16-point loss? Protecting Clark's health is essential, but if the approach also damages momentum and strains the relationship with the franchise star, it clearly requires adjustment. Both women publicly dismissed suggestions of a conflict, with Clark declaring, "I ride for Steph. She may have meant every word. Still, the footage cannot simply be erased." In that moment, two fiercely competitive figures appeared out of sync during a humiliating defeat, and calling it nothing does not make the questions disappear.
So when my neighbor comes up to me and tells me that he's so frustrated he's yelling at the TV because he wants Caitlin to shoot more, and you see social media, of course you do, and we all do, and we see frustration if Caitlin doesn't have the ball, or if something goes wrong, or if the team doesn't play well in the fourth quarter, all those things that happen in sports. What's your answer to those fans? I don't know that I really have an answer for the fans. I think, I have to answer to our team, and our franchise. And we're trying to win ball games. We're not trying to appease the masses.
This is where the frustration becomes much harder to dismiss. A belief has emerged around Indiana that the Fever should not shape their entire identity around Caitlin Clark. One particularly blunt opinion circulating among people connected to the franchise suggests that Indiana cannot win if Clark becomes the system. Consider what that implies. She is the team's most influential offensive player and the driving force behind its ticket demand, television audiences, merchandise sales, and cultural relevance. Yet the philosophy appears to resist placing her at the center of everything. Fans have noticed the same disconnect. For months, many have argued that instead of adapting the Fever to Clark's fast-paced, creative style, Stephanie White is asking Clark to conform to the coach's preferred system. That concern is no longer easy to label as meaningless online criticism. Los Angeles appears to offer the opposite vision. With Mark Walters' resources and Lynn Roberts' ambition, the Sparks seem to be constructing an offense for a guard who dictates the tempo, controls possession, and creates opportunities for everyone around her. They do not appear afraid of allowing one generational player to become the system. They want her to be the centerpiece, and they want every part of the offense to flow through her.
I mean, Caitlin to the ground, and that's a hand to the neck, and then Alyssa Thomas steps over.
Man, this is so disgusting, bro. Like, this is why AT get the type of commentary that she gets. Look, that was unnecessary, bro. She literally punched.
But the controversy extends beyond coaching decisions. It involves the entire environment Clark is being asked to endure in Indiana. During the Fever's June 24 matchup against the Mercury, Alyssa Thomas entered a scramble for a loose ball and made forceful contact with Clark's throat using a closed fist. Thomas then rose, looked down at Clark, and stepped over her while Clark remained on the floor. No foul was called in real time, and play simply continued. Stephanie White later described the missed calls as egregious, but the punishment that followed only intensified the outrage. A one-game suspension for an incident involving the league's most visible player. Clark subsequently missed 2 games after aggravating a back injury during the same contest. A 24-year-old superstar was sidelined following contact that many believed warranted an immediate ejection and a far more serious league review. Yet the consequence amounted to only a single game.